Here you see Jean Thornton. She's been here decorating the cabin, and this picks up voices pretty well. We've got the crackle of the fire on the other one. Yeah, yeah. Here we see Kenny Winkenwater standing back admiring his mural.
Yeah, not admiring.
No, he's thinking.
You're frustrated right at the moment, huh? You're frustrated right at the moment?
Oh no, I'm not frustrated.
Okay, you're just working on things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we're going to go around here. Philip's giving a guided tour of the cabin. Wait, stop again. Philip, start over, please, on this.
I haven't done anything.
They haven't told us
okay.
anything.
Okay.
I'm looking for
It's
pegs.
just that they use mud mixed with
Straw.
and horsehair.
Oh.
And we use cement. That's all we've learned so far.
They might have
I think
covered
they're
up.
more creative. I think they are more creative.
What they would do is, what little I had I used on the tree, they would bore a hole down through here and cut a round dowel and drive it down in there, and they would lay this log on top, bore a hole down through it, put a dowel in it to hold it together. It's called a dovetail and peg construction.
We learned something new today.
They filled it with mud mixed with straw and horsehair. We cheated, we used cement.
Cool.
This is what the peg looks like. You can go inside, you'll see the inside of this. That's a peg that helped hold it together. See where you're at, about eye level from the window. See what's there?
Greg Cobbs from Greenleaf via Waterville, Kansas, and my good friends from Blue Rapids, Phil and Pat Osborne, asked me to come over and spin a few tales about the old Cottonwood tree and some of the people that I met at that location, where there's quite a variation of personalities, but the one that they've asked me to talk a little bit about was Eagle Eye, whose real name was George Barker. And the reason I happened to know a little bit about him is his ex-wife, after she beat him up, moved to Greenleaf, Kansas, where I now live, and she had a cafe there for a good many years. But the first time that I remember George, or Eagle Eye as we know him, I came over to the fair, and he was bandages from the tips of his fingers to his whole face, and Faye Barker, his wife at that time, evidently Eagle Eye went home and he'd been in the home brew or something, but she'd done a number on him, and then she divorced him. So maybe once or twice we saw him in Greenleaf. He stopped in to see his ex-wife. So that was a little bit about Eagle Eye. The Leo Jewel was a warm-up, or gallop boy, at the time that we came over to the racetrack when the paddock was around the tree. And Leo really came into his own as a jockey, done quite well. And like I said, he was killed, and I was away at college when that happened. I don't know where it happened. My dad let me know about it. He had a brother, Jim Jewell, who married some relatives of ours, and that's the reason I kind of knew where he was. And the Jones boys, Jack and Leo, Leo and my dad kind of liked to hang around the horses together, so I knew them just a little bit. Another guy used to always show up there was a guy named Jackson, and I think he was the one that they always bought the booze from to have their post-race party with. So those are some of the things I remember about those people. One, and about the tree, we always called it the tree because when I was in high school, when we were the visitors, we were bused over to the fairgrounds, and that's where the football game was played. And when the games, always parked the school bus there by the tree. We always called it the tree. And immediately when the half was over with, why, Coach Snibble hollered, get to the tree, so that we wouldn't get in, what do I want to say, quite a rivalry there, so there could be a little bit of emotions get out of control. So he'd get us to the tree in a hurry and get us in the bus or whatever. But fond memories of that area of the fairgrounds and of that big old Cottonwood. Really enjoyed it. The football field there at the fairgrounds run, as I recall, east and west. And there's been some conversation that maybe run north and south. The football field was a football field, I guess, to us in that day and age. I think that because the baseball diamond was on the skin part of the baseball diamond was on the south side, as I recall. And there's one set of bleachers, but the crowd was always so big on both sides that the bleachers were hardly ever set in. That the fans run both sides of the field and expressed their opinions, rather about the players and the coaches and the officials and all that went with it. I do carry a scar from this day from the last game that I played there. The game was just about over with, about next to the last play. And a guy by the name of Clyde Whiting come lumbering down the field, slower than a step, right on my big toe. And to this day, I've got a deformed toenail on my left big toe. So in the mornings, I remember the last ball game I played at Blue Rapids, Kansas. So it was, and we used to come. Another time, when I was younger yet, I wanted to come to the horse races. Now, I evidently wasn't old enough to drive, so my dad told me I could ride my bicycle over to Blue Rapids. At that time, there wasn't that much car traffic, and so I rode my bicycle. He gave me enough money to get in, probably 50 cents or $1, I don't know. And I rode my bicycle over to Blue Rapids, and there was a kid about my age. They called him Detmo Holland. Richard Holland, I think, was his name. And I left my bike at his place, snuck into the horse races, and then I give my money to Mike Reedy, who was my neighbor, who's a horse owner, and he bet 50 cents a time, I think, on these horse races. So and he kind of coached me on which ones to bet on, and so I rode back home with more money than I came with, and I had a little bit of explaining to do with my mom and dad about that, because I did have to level with them. But another experience I had in Blue Rapids, Kansas, that I really enjoyed. One last yarn here before I was the way they took care of the horses there and watered them in the stable, which is just north of the Cottonwood tree. The river, as I recall, run just right behind that stable, and there's a rock path down to the river. And of course the horses needed water, and they would wash the horses down, but the water was all carried out of the river, and they carried it in half-bushel containers that they'd carry 2 at a time, and they would water the horses out of those containers night and morning. So there was no running water to that old stable.
My name is Justin Osborne, also known as JD around town. My story about the old Cottonwood is probably the same as every boy that grew up in Blue Rapids story. Any given summer day or after school, we'd ride our bikes down and we'd play on the dike. And then after a while, somebody had mentioned over by the demolition derby rink, so we'd go over there and ride our bikes around and make a track. And then we'd play underneath the branches of the old Cottonwood, and we'd play in the Cottonwood until dark, and then we'd ride our bikes back home.
Okay, now, I'm Betty Bragg, and I remember Mom my husband's mother, Laura Brake, talking about the Cottonwood tree right here. When she was a little girl, she played in that, and she was born in 1912. So that had to be a long time ago. There was a hole in it big enough that she could get in it. And her older sister, 7 years earlier than that, Bernice, had played in that tree also. So that tree has quite a reputation. And then our daughter Carrie said that she remembers playing in it. She went in it, and I bet she had sometimes when she even hid in it when we were looking for her. So it has quite a reputation for Blue Rapids. I am Betty Brake, Clark Brake's wife, and I remember his mother, Laura Brake, telling about the cottonwood tree that she played in it when she was a youngster. She was born in 1912, so she had to be pretty small when she played in the hole in the trunk of the tree. And her older sister, Bernice, who is 7 years older than she, played in it also. When our daughter, Carrie, told us about the tree, she told us that she had played in it, but she and her friends, and I bet she had probably even hidden in it from us sometimes. So that tree was quite old. It had to be.
Okay, I'm Carolyn Jones. I'm from Axtell, Kansas. I came to Kansas in 1947, and my folks lived on a farm north of Waterville. And I went to the Star School, a one-room school, and in September we went to the fair with a float for the school, and they parked the float under the big cottonwood tree. There were several floats there, and our teacher explained to us that we were under the largest tree in Kansas. And I thought that was very interesting, even though I was 12 years old. And through the years, I've always remembered that and always took note of the tree as I drove by on Highway 77. And when I heard that they were going to have to burn it down, well, I went down and got some logs and some bark to later carve. And the logs will be places for my cats to play and sleep. I will line them with carpeting and fix a little ladder up to them, have them set in a frame, because I want something to remember that tree by. I always thought it was a beautiful tree, and in the fall it reminds me of a great big aspen when the leaves are turned gold, the way they wave in the breeze. And I've just always admired that big beautiful tree there. This is a piece of cottonwood bark that I got at Steel City, Nebraska. I had picked up several pieces for my cousins in St. Louis to carve because they both were in carving. And in just a few minutes, my cousin's husband carved this face in a piece of cottonwood bark. He told me that the farther north the trees grow, the thicker the bark. So Nebraska cottonwoods would be thicker than Kansas, he figured.
I'm Jim Flower, Jr. A story about the old cottonwood tree. My dad used to live just kind of southwest of the old tree when he was growing up. And numerous times he told me that he could sneak off over in the tree and hide. There used to be a big opening on the side of it. And his mother couldn't see him, and he'd go over there and smoke cigarettes, and they had a little fort in there, and him and his brothers, and used it as a hideout. And I guess basically that's about all I have on what I know he did around the tree, but other people have done numerous things, I'm sure, too. My name is Jim Flower, Jr., and I guess talking about the old tree, the old cottonwood, it was down there in the park for years and years and years. I can remember my dad telling me numerous times when he was a kid, and he lived just southwest of the tree there a little ways, and And he used to sneak off and hide in the tree and smoke cigarettes or whatever, you know. It was a kind of a hideout. And his mom couldn't see him from her house over there, so he could hide, and they had their fort in there. And the opening, as time has went on, has gotten a whole lot smaller. I don't know what caused the opening to begin with, but it was rotten there, and basically the tree had a big open hole in the center of it. And then in 2006, I guess, the tree decided to just start rotting bad and limbs breaking off of it. And we ended up spending 3 or 4 days piling it all up to burn it, because it'd take entirely too long to just haul it off. And we burned it right there on the spot.
Might be on fire. You don't want to be in there. Oh, hi, neighbor. I'm a marshmallow. I'm toasting myself.
Look at that black smoke headed straight for my house.
Did you shut your doors and windows?
Yep, don't have any laundry on the line either. Last night anyway, he built up the wood stove and it went straight for the clothesline. I had beans out there. Wow, that feels good.
Oh, that's just the other side. I'm seriously toasting myself.
Wow.
Good, doesn't it? Next. Yay! Oh, it's like I'm getting a lot of cold air in this arm. Whoa! Seriously, that kid's red. That kid's red. It's all here on the ground. That's right. Oh, my birthday candle! My birthday candle. Candle. Can we do that?
I believe that he's succeeding.
I just remember the tree from growing up in Blue Rapids with the fairground activities and the softball games. It was always a place to go get shade. It was impressive. It was so big. Thank you.
Who are you?
Oh, Sue Rowland.
Comrades, since these flags have become faded and worn in a tribute of service and love, I recommend that they be befittingly destroyed. A flag may be a flimsy bit of printed gauze or a beautiful banner of finest silk. Its intrinsic value may be trifling or great, but its real value is beyond price, for it is a precious symbol of all that we and our comrades have worked for and lived for, and died for a free nation of free men, true to the faith of the past, devoted to the ideals and practice of justice, freedom, and democracy. Let these faded flags of our country be retired and destroyed with respectful and honorable rites, and their places be taken by bright new flags of same size and kind, and let no grave of our soldier or sailor dead not be honored and unmarked. Let us pray. Almighty God, captain of all hosts and commander over all, bless and consecrate this present hour. We thank Thee for our country and its flag and the liberty for which it sounds. To clean and purging flames we commit these flags, worn out in worthy service as they yield their substance to the fire. May Thy holy light spread over us and bring to our hearts renewed devotion to God and country. Amen. Color guard. Cut. Present arms. there for not. It's not to see my aunt over there. It's not smoke. Well, yeah, just get over with it.
A little bit like those guys. Hey, old guy that walking on. Hey, why don't you cook on this fire? Came up the street. That was my middle wall.
I'd say there's over 200.
I bet there was too.
I had 3 big boxes.
See what we learned tonight is we need to do this one.
You gentlemen didn't count those flags first?
Yeah, we did. But
218.
we lost track of 218.
218.
Really?
218.
Fantastic.
Or was it 318?
And I did get the flag from up above the library.
Cool. You're the man. You got to 218 and you ran out of fingers and toes?
There's only 6 of us. That's a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Next tree comes down, we'll do it again.
Next tree comes
That one over there. Take a picture of that for posterity.
Top of it's getting burnt out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's one thing trees don't take very much heat.
And as dry as it is, them things are brittle and
Fire's
soft
gone
anyway.
way over the fence.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
Is the fire department watching it?
No. What are you kidding?
That's the council's job.
They just parked the fire truck. They parked the fire truck here to make it look
Strictly
good.
for show. There's no
Nobody knows how to run it.
There's no fire.
It's all locked up. The guy that drove it up here is home. Eating supper.
Any of you guys? We got hot Dr. Pepper in.
When and where?
There we go.
All right.
Mother was watching.
Well, I remember crawling up in where it was hollow and playing in it when I was a kid, but we didn't spend a lot of time here because we figured it was going to fall down on top of us. We were scared. Not very much.
All right, that was a good one. Jay, you're up next.
What's that?
What's your story about the
I
Cottonwood?
can't tell you anything about this cottonwood tree. I'm not from around here.
He's been here longer than we have.
But I'm glad the tree can't tell the stories it probably knows. So this is probably the best thing that's happened is it burnt down. It can't talk now. That's what Joe was saying also. Joe, you're
Okay,
out,
Joe.
buddy.
Yes, you are.
And don't try to get
I got a
even.
bunch of stories about that tree, but they all went up with the fire, and I can't remember them, Pat.
It was so long ago.
Yeah, it's a good thing they did.
What's that called? Short-term memory?
Short-term memory.
Yeah,
Yes.
cotton.
I think it's select.
Try your husband. He probably got
He
something.
just did.
Oh, he already did.
He told me.
I have no. Only thing, it sure makes a nice shade tree for the demolition derby.
Did.
Yes, it did. It did.
Use that past tense.
Past tense.
Well, when they get the stump burnt, they'll have a place to put the cars.
Yeah.
Instead of having to haul them home,
Yeah.
drop them in.
Maybe this is what we should do with the cars.
Yeah.
Rather than leave them sit around town. Build a fire and light it.
We had 224 because some lady brought 6 more in. Just a minute ago.
I'll probably start with
300.
324
324 what, Joe?
flags. Because some lady just brought 6 more in just now.
And why did that cottonwood tree grow so big when it grew here so close to the demo cars?
Because it was big before they started the demo derbies.
It was here long before the demolition.
The first demolitions were clear over there on the baseball
It
field.
probably had a hell of a tap room.
Well, that was
Probably
the
had
old
a hell
channel.
of a
Yeah,
tap
the old
room.
channel.
Water, I mean, it didn't have far to
It'd
go.
flood here all the time.
Yeah, so it had
See, there's the old track. That's what we wish we could restore, is the old track.
Oh, the old racetrack?
The old racetrack.
Yeah.
That'd be,
Yep.
and trotters. He said this is the best track in the state of Kansas.
And all those horse
I think we've managed.
stables all over there. Well, Jack Booth always had one down there. He was the only one that never had one. Jack would bring his horse out every day and walk.
Find Emery Stryker and ask him where he used to live. No, he's gone. His
Emery
truck's
Stryker's
gone.
gone. Yeah.
He used to live over here.
Yep.
No, I seen him. He just went through here a little bit ago. Thank God. He's working on it.
No, he left. I saw him driving off.
I remember going out to his place and they raised mink.
Oh, yeah, he'll be back.
They raised mink. His folks raised mink over here about where the end of the dike is.
I'll get painted. But the old fire wagon, you can store it in one of the buildings over here. I remember when that was city dump. There are millions of dollars worth of car parts in there. Millions.
They're going to stay there.
Yeah. New ones. Jim Flower said that when he was a kid, they hired him and 2 or 3 other kids then. That, I forget who had the garage, Ford garage, and they hold obsolete parts.
Hi, Jim.
Brand new.
You not working tonight?
Buddy.
Wow. That shows it.
Yeah. I know who to tell to. Tell him. Ford man. He drives the whole thing.
We used to come down here to the dump. And I came down with my brother one day and he found a great big old plaster of Paris Indian head or bust about that tall. We put it out there, put it on top of stuff so
I don't know if I spooked him or what. Looks like he
Yeah.
Have Dave Sanner walking the perimeter, making sure the fire is under control. He's not fire chief, but he knows what to watch for. It's nearly 6 o'clock. People are moving a little closer to the fire. The warmth is wonderful. The flag containers are still burning. Everybody's full of apple crisp and hot RC cola.
I couldn't get in there.
But you know what? I had said that you can either do chocolate.
Oh yeah, see that? Did you see that? Elisha actually made it in the fire.
Because we chicken. We just said you gotta sleep in your own bed. He would not let us have to sleep.
Oh man, I can't be here.
And I said, what are you gonna do when she goes to college? And he said,
we're even now. I went over it. Yeah. I beat you.
what are you guys throwing in the fire? Anything?
Play in.
Hot dog, man. Back on the upstairs and we didn't, oh yeah. They just, you know, once you're in bed, it's
Stay here all night long.
You're not? I ain't. Yank. I bet you'd be warmer in here than you would be in bed.
Rolling, though.
Dave was thinking it's going to take a while to get going, but it didn't.
Well, we were filming up there with the traffic car coming down. That piece slowed down to like, there. You know you're from a little town when. You know you're right there.
You don't need all the glitz and the lights.
Well, we have glitz.
Quite a bit of glitz.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of lights.
Yeah.
A little bit of warmth.
Yeah.
There goes glitz.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, fire maker,
Yeah.
fire starter maker.
Fire starter maker. Uh-oh.
Dave,
Did they pull up at the interstate?
how high are the flames going, Dave?
They're
Over my
interviewing.
head, 12 foot in the air.
Thanks a lot.
How high you want them to go? We can make them go higher.
I think you did a good job of making them go at all.
I wonder who's going to get the shovel in there. Hey.
I want to see you go with the guns and just spread the full tire. One up the backside.
It's kind of a movie town.
Yeah.
You want to be the star?
We didn't rehearse any.
Is it a digital movie camera?
Yes, we think so.
We don't know for sure.
Oh no!
It's brand new, brand new. Yeah.
It's a still picture. That's it.
Did you bring your sleeping bag, Diana?
No, but I could go get it.
Okay.
We were talking about bringing our campers over.
And then melting them down.
If you want to put that fire out with water in a bucket, go for it. I think that's going to work really well. Unless you have one of those big buckets that's underneath one of those buckets.
This is probably frying the film.
Yeah, this is the kind of fire that at this time of year you could get some Indians in their little loin cloths and they could be dancing and not worrying about freezing anything off.
You want to go for it?
No, I was gonna wait for you. I was gonna wait for Tom to do it.
I'd be more than happy to
You're
take
awful
some pictures of that. Oh, no.
Well, you do that.
No.
You start and I'll follow.
Yeah.
He's scared.
Yeah, I promise. Yeah.
He's scared.
You don't
scared.
believe me? That if you do not believe that I would follow you?
I have to think about that. Now I hurt her feelings. I hurt her
No,
feelings.
you didn't. I just.
I'd get out there and you'd sit there and say, "Where's Ryan? Arrest this fool."
No, I'd be right there with you. Is what's really sad about the whole
Like, as I would, I know myself. How'd you get that burned? Well, I don't have to worry about having any hair removal for a while because I've been singed down to the quick.
Yeah, and how about those people that think they can walk on a bed of coals?
Oh, we were yesterday when we were in the tattoo place.
If they walked on that, they'd have a whole new think after that.
The smell of burning skin is not a pleasant smell. But we were sitting in the tattoo
Burnt
place
ones,
and,
I just do not get burned again.
and these
I found the hard way to put out a grease fire. I had a skillet catch on fire, grease, Lori had to, she started to turn it off, turned it on high. So I just thought, well, let's see, I can't take it across the carpet and throw it out the back door, so I dumped it down the sink.
Oh, well.
But the sink was full of water. Oh, it was the coolest explosion you've
I
ever
bet.
seen.
Yeah,
It just melted
not
my
good.
shoulder, melted my t-shirt to my shoulder. So,
That log just rolled down.
I know, and I missed it on my camera, didn't I?
Yeah, you just missed it.
Well, I'm waiting for that big one on the top.
It might slide down.
It might. How far might it come?
That was exciting when that big long log came down. I want to see it come all the way down.
Well, you just stick around. It's got to happen sooner or later.
That thing's gonna, that log right there in front is gonna come down sooner or later. Yeah.
What can be holding that one up? I mean, I see one sticking up under it, but it doesn't even look like it's touching.
I don't know. I see another stick over there. See that big lump? See that big thing?
Uh-huh.
That stick. There's a stick right beside it holding the front up so it doesn't roll.
I wouldn't think that could last very long.
Let's drop that stick now.
Did you look how high the sparks are going up in the sky?
Yeah.
It's better than the 4th of July. I'm moving back.
We should all move back.
You think so?
Right? Is that a camera?
I hope so. Because if it's a can of dog food, I don't know what I'm doing holding it up to my eye.
Really? All the rest of the family is back here.
You want to be on camera?
I kind of wanted to see it, but I can't really.
Oh, well, I'll open it up just for you. I've got it on night shot, so that kind of makes it look black and white.
That's okay.
But I was going to put you on.
What?
What are you guys going to do if you're on camera? Uh-huh. What do you have to say to your friends who are not here?
This bonfire is big, and I hope you are here. And that stick roll down right now. There's a log that's about to fall on us.
So say goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Is it really going to fall? Well, not yet.
That's a big fire. I can't see anymore.
So let's do that again, and you tell me your names, okay? Let's
Adrian Fishney.
How old are you?
Braden Bochek.
What grade are you guys in?
Second. First. Third. Second.
But you're all the same size. How does that work out? Don't they put you in a grade by size anymore?
No.
They don't. Huh.
We just go like whenever we do.
You don't know why you're in second grade or third grade?
Third grade because I have no idea.
Yeah, there's Adrian.
He's been older, longer. He's old.
Ah, you guys are
He's
good.
old, he's old, he's old, he's
You
old.
guys are good. Yep. Got that figured out, my gosh.
He's old, he's old, he's old, he's old.
Yeah, we gotta quit. We're going to dogs. We're done.
Andy and Davis? No.
Old. You're old. You're 10 old. 50 old. I mean 15 old.
We would have had a crowd.
You wouldn't even need to take the hair off of it, just throw it in there.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
Well, oh, take my word for it. Take my word for it.
It's not too late. Why don't you go find one?
What's that? You really want me
A
to?
hog.
A whole hog?
Do you really want me to?
Who around here's got pigs?
Or we could have goat. I know where there are goats.
I only live 2 blocks.
Okay. You really want a hog?
Or you want a deer?
Man, I got a truck. We can throw anything at it.
I got a truck with a topper. We can really throw anything in it.
If she wants a hog, we can get one.
You guys are too willing. We could stuff it in that hollow end over here, this one that hasn't burned yet. I bet it would just slowly roast in there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to throw in some apple wood or something to give it smoke flavor.
We could wrap him in apples.
I still got some Speaking of that, we still got some at home.
You could smear him with apple crisp. We have lots of that left.
From the luau, we still have some barbecue pork at home.
What?
We still got some barbecue
Mr.
pork
Musil
at
over here,
home.
he's got Whitey's pitchfork with his sausage.
No.
You need to take
Where is that pitchfork bend on?
I think probably, anybody got a big ball of glass, low glass or something, big ball or something?
It's pretty hot in there. If I had my long johns on, I'd be good. But I don't have my long johns.
I gotta be smart, go over to the little fire.
No, mine are straight.
No, it's cold. I like it.
Well,
Josh Freeman.
Josh Freeman was responsible for all 6 terms. Yeah. No. Well, those tips even go against him. They do. I know, but statistically they go against him. I know, but they go against him.
I'm going to a smaller fire.
He's going to a smaller fire. That's what we figured he'd do.
Great intentions, but they don't always work out.
That's like 2 eyes over here on the left.
Well, they said they'd put some, what they say they put in there? They used some diesel. Some diesel in an inner tube?
Yeah. And then he come down about 2 and started putting huge clearing on top of it. Some diesel down through there, you know, so that it would really go. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh, I bet that's an awesome site. It really is.
Do you have stories about this tree to tell, Susan?
Do I have stories?
Uh-huh.
No. Just that it was supposed to be the oldest cottonwood or the biggest cottonwood, but I think that was
Roy
fairy tale
Hartloff said
for
he
all
slept
those
in it.
years.
Who did?
Roy Hartloff was saying that he's had some naps in it.
Really?
Wow.
Rhonda Farnham said she spent a Girl Scout camp out in it.
Well, I was saying, you know, how the treehouse thing was built inside of the, oh, she's camcording me, inside of the tree, and they said that, I think it was Jimmy Flower's dad built that there so he could sneak over here and smoke.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if
That
it's
is
true
so
or not,
funny.
but it was all built up in there. There was a treehouse up there? Yeah. Put a board over that end and then cut it on the other end and had to keep the log the same tilt angle and stuff so that the honey didn't drain out of the comb, and took the bees home and was going to set that up and drill a hole and put a hive on top of it, so they had to go through the hive and into the tree limb and get them trained to use the hive and harvest them that way. Yes, I learned more about bees than I ever thought I needed to know. I didn't know they mated in the air. I didn't know that'd be interesting. This is recorded.
Coordination.
This is being
And then-
recorded.
and I know. And then the poor little guy dies.
Man.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
That's almost as bad as praying mantises.
Remember, you're being recorded.
I know, I didn't say anything that can't be shown to the kids.
Yeah, and that piece of metal over there is really hot, so don't go touch it.
It's the fence thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
I'm Maxine Lamb Holler, and I remember the old tree back when I was just a little girl, and my dad played baseball on the town team. On Sunday afternoons, it was a must that we get there early to put our blankets down so we could have shade under the old cottonwood tree, because it was summertime and it was hot. And then later on, when we had 4th of July things, we watched the game, hurried home, got the chores done so we could come back and watch the fireworks. Of course, they weren't like they are today, but they were fun. And then it was always there. And as I went to high school, our football team played on the field that went north and south there, a ways from the tree. And we used the tree again in the summertime, or in the September and October, because it was hot for shade. We had bleachers under there, and some people stood up there. I don't remember too much about it from years on, except that it was just always there, and I guess I thought it always would be there, but time has a way of changing things. My last memory, of course, is of the weenie roast and the burning of the old cottonwood tree.
Let me get a close-up.
I wonder when that other tree came down. If it was there, it may have been there, and I wonder when it came down.
My name is Greg Koppus, Greenleaf, Kansas, via Waterville, Kansas. And my friends from Blue Rapids, Kansas, Phil and Pat Osborne, asked that I recall a few of my memories from the old, big old cottonwood tree, which was located on the north and west corner of the fairgrounds. It holds some fond memories for me because when I was there was a stable to the north of that tree that held about 25 racehorses, and there were people that kept those racehorses there, and they were trained at the track, or a half-mile track, which encompassed the fairgrounds. And I remember the old Cottonwood because it served as a paddock area for the racehorses. A paddock area is an area that they take the horses to after they're saddled in the stable, and they walk them for a while before they take them to the racetrack for either what they call their gallop workout or for the races, which races were held there at the fairgrounds during the county fair, as I remember it. But the big tree was served as a paddock area, an area about, I suppose, a radius around the cottonwood tree. There was a rail, and they led those horses around the big tree. Well, the big tree served as this paddock area, and it was also the hardcore area or the area of hardcore horsemen. My father, George Koppus, who took me over there and introduced me to that whole situation, was an avid racehorse lover. So we, different times on Sundays, while they would gallop the horses, and they would have them in the paddock area and walk them around, and we would stay there. And some of the people that I remember were Jack and Leo Jones, who were horse owners from Blue Rapids, Barney and Mike Reedy, who were from Waterville and Marysville, Leo Jewell, who was a jockey, and Leo became quite well known in some of the bigger racetracks before he was killed at a track unknown to me. There was an elderly gentleman who was a part-time jockey there, what we call a warm-up boy, and his name was Shorty Lacey, and a small gentleman. There was another horse owner by the name of Hogue, I think, was the name, and I don't know if I got that name right. I barely remember that gentleman, but there was always quite a number of horse stories told at the paddock around that old tree. And after they galloped the horses, they would bring them back there to the paddock area around the big old tree, and they would walk them until they cooled down, so to speak. And that's where the betting all took place. Whether it was just a friendly bet, they would place their bets. No money changed hands until after the race was won, and the winner of the race, or that particular race, generally had to furnish a little nip of whiskey to the rest of the people that were betting on the races there. So some other people I remember, a guy by the name of Preacher Williams was there quite about every Sunday that we were there, and very enjoyable individual, also quite a softball player I heard at that time. And another individual who I remember was a person they called Eagle Eye. I was scared to death of him. He had one snag tooth and one eye, and he just scared me to death. I remember that. And we'd come over maybe once a month or so and spend the Sunday afternoon around that big old tree. And I always remember it for one thing, that I don't know if it's the biggest tree in Kansas, the county, or the United States or what, but it was one big tree, and those are some of my memories of the people that were involved there at the horse races and the paddock area, which the big tree was the center of. So those are my memories of it. I guess they put it to sleep here 2 or 3 months ago, so another memory has passed us by.